was drunk last night. I only came back to the room to rest. She suddenly looked at Cheryl, who was standing in front of her with wide eyes. You did this, didn't you? You were the one who brought me back to the hotel last night, to this room. Why did you do this to me? When Cheryl heard this, she looked wrong. I don't understand what you're saying. I didn't know such thing. You didn't? Natalie growled as her anger reached its peak. Then how did I end up in someone else's room? Why would that man know?
Hey, Daniel.
Nick interrupted her with a loud shout as if he didn't want to hear anymore. You want to blame someone else for what you've done? He looked at her coldly. I only left for 6 months, and you're already this desperate. Did you really have to climb into someone else's bed?
Hey,
Natalie
Lisa.
hugged her arm in panic as tears rolled down her cheeks and dripped onto the carpet. She couldn't believe Nick was saying these things. They had been together for 3 years and were about to get married. Nick, she said in a low voice, practically begging as she looked at the resolute man in front of her. Please, believe me, don't say any more. Just listening to you disgusts me. With a look of pure disdain, he turned around and strode off down the corridor. The engagement's off. I don't want to see you again. His words were like a sharp knife stabbing straight into her heart. Despair slowly spread through her and was on the verge of spilling out. It was so painful that she could no longer breathe. Nick! She staggered after him, but her father grabbed her by the arm and shoved her to the floor. Natalie, you are no longer
Hi,
part
Miss
of this
Mary.
family. From this day on, you are not my daughter. She was stunned. After they left, her head was in shambles. She didn't even know how she made it home. But by the time she did, her belongings were already packed and left by the door. Tom had even booked
You're not going out the door.
And he told her to pick up her stuff and leave the country immediately.
This woman thinks she's grown. She do what she want to do.
She was in a daze.
She over here trying to go out the door. I just cracked the door open
Cheryl walked
so
down
some fresh air could come in. But
when Natalie ignored her, she
Trina,
didn't.
yes.
Instead, she laughed. Do you really want to know how you ended up in that room? Let me tell you. You were right. I put you here. I did it because I want to marry you. And I can't stand the thought of you being happy with him.
Do y'all hear me? Don said this woman. Miss Wanda done said this woman.
What's going on here?
Natalie, you crazy. Let her go. It was her. She set me up. Shit. How dare you accuse my daughter of anything? You're just as wild as your mother was. But she embarrassed everything. It was her.
Wait.
Yeah.
How could you? We're sisters. Tom, do you hear what your daughter's saying?
Scissors. In the bathroom. I don't know. I feel like it.
Everything has to be destroyed. If the media comes out, the company is finished. I can't let that happen. Mike, you go to the hotel and destroy all the evidence.
I'll do that, sir.
Saying bye. Slowly.
I hope we'll never
A new year is getting ready to start, okay?
She's no longer my
Even
daughter.
though there was, no, I ain't gonna talk about it because there's somebody on here watching gonna end up saying, oh my gosh, let me go and tell everybody this.
What do you mean?
You disappointed
All right,
me twice today. You're no longer worthy of this family. Pack your things and get out.
I remember when you changed my name from sick to heal, from throat to blade. Yeah, I can tell the same.
That day, I lost
going to
everything.
outline up my hair, honey, because I want all
kicked
my
me
hair.
out of the house and forced me to leave the country. Almost an hour later, my father drove
How
me to
y'all
the
day
airport
going?
and told me that I couldn't
How is
stay.
y'all day going so far?
At that time, I was well aware of what I had gotten myself into. But one question kept nagging at me. Who was that man I was with that night? Nine years have passed since everything happened. From the moment my family kicked me out until now, we haven't spoken to each other.
Tight.
But yesterday morning, my father called me and said I had to come back. He didn't give me a reason.
Yeah, she mad. She done tore up the rug in front of the door. She done moved it.
That's why I'm here. I came to buy plane tickets. One for myself and the other.
Mom, hurry up! It will leave without us.
So what? What are we going to do?
It's old school
Well,
right here. It's
It's
old
only a
school
couple of
right here.
kilometers. It's very good
When
for us.
lace wigs
I realized I was pregnant
hit
with
the
Mia
scene
after I left the country.
back in
And although I was all
when
alone,
people started really
decided
messing
to
with
give
lace in 2008.
In his short
2008
life,
people was
he had
doing lace
never
wigs, but
known who
it's
his
like
real
people
father
wasn't
was.
affording it, so they
It
wasn't
seemed
able to
like
do it.
it
They
was
wasn't able to
time
get it because they
to
couldn't
change
afford
that.
it. So it came up with a way of how to do it
You'll be flying
without
first class.
having
I'm sorry.
wigs,
Are you
buying a
serious?
wig.
Is this in the airplane or kindergarten?
So they used to
I'm sorry, what?
cut
Don't
the
buy
hair
expensive
off the
tickets to listen
track
to
of
children
the
screaming. Mike,
off the track
take the
and
tickets away from her.
used to
Please.
lay them down to where it look like they're coming out your edges.
I'm so sorry, but my child is
Mm-hmm.
adult.
Y'all ain't know
and
about
he
that, huh?
isn't loud.
6
I
or
ordered
7
my
years
baby
old.
Excellent.
some new
I'm
clothes.
It doesn't matter. You're
How your
allowed.
day going? Oh, my day
I'm
going
sorry, mind your
good.
tone with my child.
Good.
Do you see the
Good.
absurdity of the situation?
We woke up this
That
morning.
moment,
We
neither
blessed.
he nor
We
I
woke up this
recognized
morning.
each
We
other at all,
blessed.
even though we had spent
Yeah, this
the
here is a
night
T
together
movie.
9 years ago.
Please tell me you have other flights leaving today.
Just a moment, sir. Let me please find out.
Feel it in this room.
But knowing this one fact about our
Holy
night,
Spirit,
it becomes 100% clear that this man who is now telling off my son is his real father.
Daddy!
I'm sorry.
Cause when you have your way,
What are you doing?
something
It's not funny.
has to
Making jokes
break.
about this.
But it's true. Look at his
Something
arm.
has
He has a scar. It's the same as mine.
Yeah.
Hey, it
I do
just
not want this on the back of my neck,
Don't get too
cause
excited
baby,
about it.
when
Why
this
did
stuff
you
be
leave
on
me
the
and
back
my
of your
mom?
neck,
Liam, it's enough.
when we used to go to the hair
It's not nice
store
to behave like this.
Oh, no.
and
Go
go
ahead.
get those
Check
lace
your
wigs put
package.
on, and they
Do you
put
know
that
how many
down
women
there,
sent to me
they
their
put that
child
glue
as
and stuff back there, and it been done ate up the whole raw, made your neck
Want
raw
the
cut,
money?
done pull it off your skin.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, I don't want that.
I
Okay,
didn't send anyone
I do
to
not
you.
want that.
I'm
So
really
I'm gonna
sorry,
put
but
it
now
right
that's what I
here
said.
on the
Was it your idea? I'm so sorry for that. Hey, why don't you give him a proper family mother of the year?
Don't you dare tell me and my son how to live our lives. Liam, come on. No woman has ever put Bryce in his place before. They were all infatuated by his strength and authority. At that moment, he was pushed to the wall for the first time. And he liked it.
I
He
got
was definitely
this
interested in me then.
hairspray,
Mr. Bryce, are you
Dollar
all right?
Tree
I'm fine.
for a synthetic wig,
The cashier says
and I got
there's one more
this.
flight leaving today.
got to be glue,
No.
blasting,
We'll fly
freezer
with her.
spray for stronghold.
With
But I
her?
got this right here.
Really?
I
Hose,
didn't understand why
hold
Liam
and
called this man
holds your
dad.
style.
It was our first meeting after that night. A meeting in
Okay,
which
let's
neither
put this
I
on.
nor he realized that we had met each other a long time ago. But a few hours later, none of this mattered. I finally returned to my hometown, where a meeting with my family was waiting for me. My father didn't tell me why he invited me, but now I understand why he didn't say anything to me. Hey, Natalie! Finally, we were waiting for you.
Hi.
My sister and my ex-fiance were getting married. They had just come to pick me up from the airport.
Why that little boy look like a little girl though?
Mister, you forgot your wallet.
Did it fell out? Or maybe you pulled it out?
Where are your parents?
Liam would never take something that wasn't his. He just gave you your wallet back.
So, this is your son?
Mother of God, I can't believe it. Who could have agreed to do this with you? Wait. Don't tell me you gave birth after you cheated on Nick. That's terrible. That's just pathetic.
And you have been raising him all this time on your own? No wonder he's picking pockets. This is what happens when you get pregnant with the first guy you meet.
No, no, he didn't say that. No.
That my half-sister, ex-fiance, who had once told me that he loved me, could now say such things. At that moment, I couldn't hold myself back.
You around here slapping everybody,
If
girl.
you say that again, you'll get a second one. Goes for you too, fraud.
How dare you? Do you think that because you're a woman, I won't do anything to you?
Don't touch my
Y'all
mom.
get it? Oh, he don't play by his mama. He's straight thugging by him.
You're bad people. It's your mother's fault that you have to grow up without a father. And you calling us bad?
There go his daddy.
Darling, Larry, I've been looking for you everywhere. I was getting worried.
Dad!
Have you decided where we are going for the lunch?
Yeah, darling, yes. Liam really wants some ice cream. Should we go to look for some restaurants with their own ice cream?
Of course, it's a good idea. Mike, bring the car around.
Sure, Mr. Price.
Nick and Cheryl couldn't believe what was happening. They had just been convinced that I had been raising an illegitimate child alone for 8 years. And now it turned out that I had a rich husband abroad. I will never forget the look on their faces.
I'm sorry. Who are you? Honey, are these your friends?
No, honey, I don't know these people. They were looking for some money for the subway. Do you have some?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Let's go.
Hey, Shaniva. This should have been black though. It was supposed to have been black, but it looked like it's
Thanks for your help.
Yeah, seriously.
I just don't like what those two were saying. That's all.
That's right. They were really bad. I'm glad
That's
you
probably why they
enjoyed
be
them.
using that the white glue.
Oh,
I saw the white glue
someone
in it, but I ain't feel like
Why
getting it
not?
though.
It's the truth. Liam, please. What? It's him. I know it. I can feel it.
To have a baby with a woman, at least she needs to be attractive. And that's not about your mother, kid.
Those words were very painful. Of course, this Mr. Bryce protected me from Nick and Cheryl. But now, he's hurting me just as much as they were. Stop the car. Stop the car, please.
And what's happened?
We're leaving.
What's wrong? Are you mad at me?
You heard what you said. That lady not cute
What are you
or
doing?
pretty enough to have your babies. That's what you just said.
I hope I
There.
never see you again.
And she said she never hoped she don't want to see you no more.
Thank you.
But thank you for all you had done.
Mike, did you see that? Let's go.
So I want to make it look like something just from Timu.
The second time in Bryce's entire life that a woman has put him in his place. And both times, it was me.
He liked to be beat on then.
When we got out of Bryce's car, we didn't go to my father's mansion. We took a taxi to another place.
I'm ready for my $5 too. I ain't playing with Lisa. I decided to finally let somebody new talk to me. I don't know how I feel about him yet.
How much suffering have you endured while you've been away?
Hello, I'm Liam. Yes. Let's go. Of course, my grandmother was happy.
That's why they
to see
used that
and she was just infatuated with
that new
Liam.
glue that came out.
She fell in love with him at first sight. A woman of her experience knew what to ask a person,
All of this attackiness
what
and
not
stuff.
to ask. That's why she didn't ask me where my son came from. I was happy to come back to the place where I spent my childhood.
I don't
felt
even
good
have
here.
I do have jail.
Nothing could destroy this idyllic feeling.
I just broke the top.
Except
Oh my goodness. I gotta do my toes. I gotta do my feet.
hello, Dad, sis. I knew this was the place to look for you.
I asked my niece, I said, do me a favor.
Don't bother me.
Put some baby hairs on my hair, because I had cut this
Daddy
off
asked us to
and I was gonna wear this
He wants to see
when I
you
was in
right.
Miami. And that's why it's out look frizzy like this. And then she's gonna tell me, but I don't know how to do it. Let's see.
Liam! On the way to the family mansion, none of us said a word. And the house seemed to be the same as it was 9 years ago.
The back is laid down.
But
the back is
people
tight.
in it had changed. I couldn't look into their eyes anymore.
Where is the cone?
Honey, I want some drink.
Oh.
Oh, Natalie, you're back. How was the flight? Are you hungry?
I know you don't like me, so you shouldn't act like you do.
Is that a way to talk to him, Mother?
Yeah. I don't even know what to call. Oh boy.
Hi, Dad.
I've sent you out of the country to think about your behavior. Instead, you brought some strange kid here.
Hello, I'm Leah.
I will never accept him. He's the part of the Davidson family.
Daddy, don't be so angry. This child, it's not his fault. Besides, he's your grandson.
Don't you dare call him that.
Of course, she emphasized the word grandson. She knew that would make my father even angrier. When they kicked me out, I was so poor that I hardly ate anything. And even then, none of them called me once. And now, they want to reject the only person who cares about me. Liam is my son, and I don't care if you accept him or not. I only came back here for the engagement party, and I'll be leaving as soon as it's over.
Good. You're welcome to come to the wedding, but not with him. I forbid you to embarrass our family in front of all the guests.
Okay? Well, if that is what you want. It was very nice seeing you all. Bye. At that time, I felt nothing but disgust. I wanted to leave the house I had lived in for 20 years as soon as possible and go back to my grandmother's house. But on the way out, I was stopped.
Natalie, please wait. Natalie.
What? What do you want from me? Did you come here to insult me even more? All this time here, Nick hasn't taken his eyes off Liam. He clearly couldn't stop thinking about the man who was with me yesterday. After all, Nick and I had been together for a few years, and I knew I held a very important place in his heart. He still felt something.
I just want to ask you something.
Is that my son?
What did you mean when you called Cheryl fraud yesterday?
What?
Are you serious?
Listen, what right do you have to say something like that? You the fraud. You cheated on me behind my back.
Are you done? Now you listen to me. Don't you ever bring up what happened then. I had been set up, and you just walked away without asking any single question, even though we had been together for so many years. You didn't give me an ounce of trust. So stay with your Cheryl now. You both deserve each other.
Wait, please, please tell me, please look at me. What do you mean?
You know what she mean when she told you that girl was a fraud. She a fraud. She lied. She tricked her, got her drunk, drugged her, and put her in the room with another man. And he slept with her. She woke up. She thought she was with you.
Listening to their conversation, couldn't hold back anymore. She quickly walked over to them, grabbed Nick's waist, and said coquettishly, "Nick, why did you come out here? Why didn't you come back with me?" She couldn't completely hide the panic on her face. It It was obvious that she wanted to stop Natalie from speaking the truth. Natalie glanced at her and laughed inwardly. You showed up just in time. Hearing her disdain, Nick immediately became defensive. It's odd that you were saying all this. Is it because you want to make Cheryl look bad? She looked at him, wondering what kind of spell Cheryl had put on him to make him like this. If you're so protective of her, why are you still following me? You two are living your lives, so just leave me alone. Natalie couldn't bear to listen to their nonsense any longer. She spit out her words and left with Liam.
That should be
The actors in this series have changed. However, Natalie is determined to get her revenge. Even if Nick, Cheryl, and Tom make her life hell.
I was gonna say, somebody come over here and
discover the truth about Bryce, the handsome billionaire, and give Liam the life he deserves?
Put baby hairs on top of my head.
Episode 8, The Engagement Party. After the heated exchange, Natalie did not have any contact with her family for almost a week. Then, in the blink of an eye, the day of the engagement party arrived. Not only were they celebrating the couple, but also the joining of the Davidson and Barnard families. They were two powerful families in Seattle, and so a lot of well-known political and business figures were coming. Tom stood at the door of the party hall to greet the guests. Seeing that it was nearly time, he called Nick over to talk to him. Cheryl and her mother have suffered a lot in the past. He sighed and said earnestly, now that you two are engaged, you mustn't disappoint me. If you treat her badly, I won't let you off easily. Nick nodded his head seriously. Don't worry, I'll take good care of her and never upset her, not in the slightest. Satisfied, Tom patted his shoulder. But then, as if he had just thought of something, he turned around and looked toward the door. That woman will be coming today, right? Of course. I hope she doesn't cause any trouble. A trace of annoyance immediately surfaced on his face. It was difficult for us to get Mr. Walker to attend, so we can't let anything go wrong. You have to ensure that everything goes off without a hitch.
So they around here marrying each other.
Mr. Walker was a very powerful man, and most of the people from the business community attending today were keen to meet him. If they could take advantage of this opportunity to get even a tiny bit closer to him, the Davidsons and the Barnards would be in a much better position in the future. While the two of them were talking, Cheryl finished dressing and walked leisurely down the stairs. She was wearing a long, plain, champagne-colored dress that made her skin appear as white as freshly fallen snow.
Ooh, that's
and
a
her
pretty
curly
dress.
brown hair was pulled into a bun at the side, revealing her long white neck. Her appearance caused quite a stir. All the guests nodded their heads in praise of her beauty. Cheryl was overjoyed, and she walked up to Nick and hooked her arm through his. Tom watched the two of them and sighed with emotion. I'm handing my precious daughter over to you. You must look after her for me. Nick stretched out his hand and took hold of Cheryl's. He smiled at her, and then turned back to Tom and solemnly promised, I will live up to your expectations. When the nearby guests saw this, they were filled with praise. Oh, they are such a wonderful couple. A talented man and a talented woman. It makes me so happy. Just then, someone raised their voice. Don't you have another daughter, Tom? How come I haven't seen her for a while? If I remember correctly, this man was her fiancé once, right? Words were like a bomb. The entire hall erupted into commotion. Those who knew the story lowered their voices and said, how could she ever have had the nerve to show her face? I heard she did something so shameful that they secretly sent her abroad. I don't even know. Who knows? Someone immediately retorted. Wasn't Tom's wife also a mistress?
I'm just not getting your
Maybe the
message.
apple doesn't fall far from the
I'm just
tree.
not getting your
Cheryl actually
message.
Stole her sister's fiancé. There were many different opinions among the crowd. Tom's face became gloomy, listening to the words that were circulating. This was Cheryl's engagement party, not an opportunity to dig into her past and gossip. How could he tolerate that other woman becoming the focus of attention? He was looking around the hall in annoyance when he saw Natalie walk in with Liam. Although she hadn't shown her face in this circle for 5 years, her brilliance was still the same. Whether it was her appearance or her aura, she still had the grace and beauty that people remembered from back then. But she seemed to have matured a lot. Her arrogance had become more restrained, creating an even more striking impression. Look, I told you she was extraordinary. Her personality alone is enough to make people jealous. The guest who had said that he thought Cheryl wasn't inferior to Natalie immediately lowered his head in shame. Tom's expression turned cold. He walked up to Natalie and lowered his voice, trying his best to control his voice. What's wrong with you? Didn't I say that you couldn't bring the child? He felt that she was purposely going
Don't worry
against
about
his
that boy
wishes
no more.
and trying to make a scene at Cheryl's engagement party. He pointed towards the door, his expression furious, and he didn't hold back his emotions. Get someone to take him away or I'll kick him out. Tom's dismissive attitude to Liam was like a needle that pierced Natalie's heart. If that's the case, she stood tall and looked at the child in her arms. Why did you make me travel all the way here? You knew it would make you unhappy. Don't worry, I'll leave with him right now. Seeing that she was about to leave, Cheryl became anxious. She quickly forced a smile and said, Natalie, don't leave. Daddy was just being impulsive. He hasn't forgotten about you once in the past 5 years. With one hand holding on to Tom and the other holding her fiancé, she tilted her head and smiled. Don't be angry. Today is my engagement party. I really want your blessing. Looking at her, Natalie couldn't help but sneer. Cheryl's silent boasting was much more powerful than her dignified words. She wanted to show off how good her life was, to prove that she had stolen her place in the Davidson family. Natalie saw all this and ignored her. She turned to look at her father, who was still upset. What? Do you want me to stay? Tom looked at her and saw that her eyes were full of hurt. He waved his hand impatiently and said in a harsh tone, Go and stand to the side. Don't wander around in front of us. She wasn't in the mood to argue with him, so she took Liam's hand and found a corner to sit down in. Although the hall was bustling with noise and excitement, Natalie felt tired. 5 years ago, she had been cruelly exiled, and now she was back, with no choice but to attend Nick and Cheryl's engagement party. She didn't know what Tom was thinking. The more she thought about it, the more her head started to ache. Her old illness had returned, and she had not been able to shake it off for the past 2 days. The pressure of everything mixed together, I will have to take. And she held onto her forehead in pain. Mommy? Liam noticed her discomfort. He held onto the armrest of the chair and asked, Are you okay? Without waiting for her to speak, he ran to a waiter and asked for a cup of water in a childish voice. The waiter looked at this obedient and sensible little boy and was struck by how cute he was. He agreed and returned with a cup of water. After drinking half of it, Natalie felt slightly better. She rubbed her temples, finally managing to calm down. When she looked up, she saw Tom and an older man walking towards her. Episode 9, False Family. Tom came closer and introduced the man beside him. Mr. Walker, this is my eldest daughter, Natalie. James Walker looked at her. With his hands behind his back, he laughed until wrinkles appeared at the corners of his eyes. Mr. Davidson, you are so lucky. Both of your daughters are beautiful. I'm envious. You're too kind. On the other side of the room, Cheryl overheard Mr. Walker and quickly pulled Nick aside. I'm not as beautiful as Natalie. I know I can't be compared to her. Natalie looked at her father's expression, which was now as calm as a spring breeze, and got a bad feeling in her stomach. She could tell that he was up to no good. I only have 2 daughters, Tom coughed. Now that my youngest has found happiness, it's time to worry about her sister's future. He turned and nodded to Natalie. Natalie, talk to Mr. Walker, please. His fatherly expression made her feel nauseous. She finally understood why he had made her come back. It was because he wanted to introduce her to this man, this fat, greasy man who he obviously was trying to reel in.
It's that
Seeing him in the same
right
room as Nick made him look even worse.
This side
Until now, she had still had a sliver of hope that Tom might have called her back because he wanted to make up for what he had done to her. But now it seemed that was just wishful thinking. Tom had never felt that he owed her anything, and he had obviously never felt ashamed. Just then, a tall, powerful figure stepped into the hall and quickly became the focus of everyone's attention. But Natalie was still immersed in her own world and did not notice. "Sorry, I don't think I have anything to talk about with Mr. Walker," she smiled coldly. "I came to the party, just like I said I would. If there's nothing else, then I'll be leaving." As she spoke, she put down the cup in her hand and got up to leave. "Natalie!" Cheryl let go of Nick's hand and came over to her father, pretending to be friendly. She reached out and grabbed Natalie's wrist. "Don't be angry. Daddy did this for your own good. All these years he's been worrying about your future." She almost managed to squeeze a tear from the corner of her eye. "Mr. Walker is the head of the Walker Group, and he is also a real estate tycoon. If you stay with him, you'll definitely live a life of luxury and ease." She said a lot of things, but Natalie remained unmoved. She raised her hand to shake off her sister's words with a frown. "You make him sound like a catch. Why don't you marry him?" "What are you saying?" Cheryl immediately bit her lip. "I already have Nick. How could I marry anyone else?" "Natalie," Tom snapped when he heard. "How can you say that?" Her stepmother, Rosemary, had come over and was frowning as well. With an expression filled with heartache, she said, "Cheryl respects you so much, and you speak to her like this." "Respect?" She felt like laughing. "You use words like that to deceive ignorant people, not me. Don't expect me to play along with it. Don't insult me." They were so absorbed in their conversation that none of them noticed that behind them, a tall figure had raised his head and caught sight of her. "Mr. Walker, you don't know the whole story." Natalie crossed her arms and turned to look at him. "Although I am the eldest daughter of this family, I've been exiled abroad for 5 years. My status in this family is somewhere below the maids. You won't get even the slightest benefit from me. So you might as well choose my younger sister. She's been spoiled and doted on all her life, unlike me. I also have a child, and everyone in Seattle knows about it. If you marry me, you'll only be insulting yourself." Natalie's words were decisive, because she didn't have as many scruples as Tom. Since she wanted to cut off
you ain't going out that door.
Why not do it cleanly?
I need a
The moment she finished speaking, everyone's expressions changed. Tom and Rosemary's faces were filled with fear
I
and
haven't did this
from
in a
having their
long
lives
time.
exposed. The gathered guests all started to feel sorry for Natalie.
I haven't
I
did.
didn't know they treated her like that. How could he do that? After all, she's his daughter, his own flesh and blood. As a father, how could he be so heartless? "Mr. Davidson." Mr. Walker couldn't hold in his anger any longer.
I haven't did
He
me
looked at
in a
Tom
long
and said with a
time.
forced smile, "You didn't tell me she had a child." "How could I possibly lie to you, Mr. Walker?" Tom was so anxious that he wanted to explain, but the truth had already come out. No matter what he tried now, it would be useless. Natalie had sacrificed her reputation to hurt him even more. There was no way out of it. Just as his scalp started to burn from worry, he suddenly heard a cold sneer behind him. "When did the woman I've got my eye on become reduced to this? To being sold like a cheap toy?" Everyone turned their attention to the person who had spoken. They saw a man walking over with steady steps. There was a playful smile on his face, and his eyes stared at Natalie like she was his prey. Enemies are always easy to find. He hadn't expected to meet this woman here. Episode 10. The Man Really Knows How to Hold a Grudge. When Natalie saw him, she was so shocked that her lips parted slightly, and she didn't know what to say. She hadn't thought that she would meet this man again so soon. It was fate. Tonight he was wearing a tailored suit that fitted him perfectly. His stature was tall and straight, and his entire body emitted an indescribable aura that filled those around him with awe. While everyone was whispering and trying to guess who he was, Mr. Walker's face changed dramatically. He rushed forward and shouted, "Mr. Clare, I never expected to meet you here." Tom couldn't believe his ears. So this was Bryce Clare, the man who had control of the city's economy and who could shake up financial circles with the snap of his fingers. He hadn't expected him to be so young. Cheryl pulled Nick aside with an ugly expression on her face. She said in a low voice, "What's going on? Isn't that the man who picked Natalie up at the airport the other day?" As soon as she said it, as if trying to prove her right, Liam, who had been standing in the corner, excitedly ran over to Bryce and hugged his calves. "Daddy, you're here!" he shouted. Natalie was so embarrassed that she wanted to cover her face and run away. The argument in the car that day was still vivid in her mind. She didn't want to owe this man anything. "Daddy?" Tom felt like he had been struck by lightning when he heard this. He stood there in a daze, then turned around and asked Natalie, "Is he Bryce Clare's son?" She didn't know how to answer, so she just pursed her lips slightly and turned to look at Bryce. Bryce bent down without hesitation and hugged Liam. Then he caressed Natalie's face and laughed softly. "Didn't you say we would come here together? How come you left without waiting for me?" The fingers that touched her cheek burned like fire. Her face flushed red as she tried to turn away. For a moment, she was unable to say a word. Bryce didn't care about her reaction. He just glanced at Mr. Walker, who was no longer calm. He was frightened by the man's gaze and quickly apologized. "I didn't know Miss Davidson was with you. I'll leave." Mr. Walker spoke quickly, and then without waiting for Tom to say anything, turned and left the hall. Tom could only stand there helpless. He railed against Natalie in his heart. How could she hide her relationship with Bryce from her family? About to say something, but Bryce interrupted him. Holding the child in one hand and Natalie's shoulder in the other, he said, "Come on, let's go sit over there for a while." With that, he left Tom and took the other two with him. When they reached a quiet corner where nobody was paying attention to them, Natalie finally broke free from his arm. She retreated half a step and asked doubtfully, "Why did you help me?" "Of course I didn't want to help you," Bryce sneered. He grabbed her wrist and whispered into her ear, "You're an ungrateful little thing. I'm here to get even." When he spoke, he intentionally leaned in very close to her ear, his breathing heavy. She knew that he was talking about the $100 she had thrown at him, and she felt uncomfortable, slightly. She hadn't expected this man to hold a grudge, so just helping her required him to settle the score. After a while, she reached for Liam and snatched him back. She pulled him away from Bryce and looked at him cautiously. Seeing her black eyes looking at the boy like she had to protect him, Bryce couldn't help but laugh. He leaned in again and whispered into her ear, "Don't be nervous. The people I want never get away. Just be good and wait for me here." After he said this, he turned and walked away, leaving her with the child in her arms and her heart beating erratically. Her cheeks burned. She hadn't felt like this in years. Episode 11. Why would she want any other man? "Mommy?" Liam looked at Bryce's departing back and whispered, "Where's Daddy going?" Natalie touched his head. She felt conflicted. He seemed certain that this man was his father, and no matter what she said, she couldn't change his mind. She smiled helplessly and was about to remind him again that that wasn't his dad. But when she raised her head, she saw Cheryl walking slowly toward her. "What are you doing here?" Her expression immediately darkened, and she spoke with a tone that was not cold, but also could not be described as indifferent. Cheryl immediately played innocent and lightly tugged her arm. "I don't need a reason. I was just afraid that my sister was bored, and so I came over to chat." Why was she suddenly acting so kind? She'd been angry just now, and now she was trying to provoke her. "Natalie, you don't know this, but I actually used to envy you." Seeing that Natalie wasn't paying attention to her, Cheryl pouted and continued sadly, "Ever since I was young, Dad was always with you, while Mom and I lived in that rented apartment. I was really envious of you. I even wanted to snatch Dad and Nick away from you." Natalie found it funny that she spoke as if she had been wronged, but didn't know who was responsible for it. "But you know, big sis," Cheryl choked, and her voice filled with sobs. "Nick was
from
really
Juvia.
He only wanted to be with you, which is why I made you hurt me. so that I could get his attention, so that he would care for me.
I ain't even put no
In the
oil on my
first year
face.
after you went abroad,
I love the
he
way it
was in
smells. It smells so
turmoil.
good you can eat
But by
it.
helping him through the most difficult days of his life and letting him see my strengths, he slowly started to develop feelings for me. Have you finished? Just as Cheryl was getting started, Natalie, who remained expressionless, interrupted her. I'm not interested in listening to your emotional story, nor do I have time to watch you brag. Why?
We're gonna go to
She
Ultra
immediately put on a sad expression
and we're
then
going
laughed out
perfume
loud.
shopping.
You're not holding yourself
Uh-huh.
back anymore. Well, it's true. You've always been like this. That's what I like about you most. Otherwise, 5 years ago, you wouldn't have played into my hands like a fool. Do you think you can become a queen bee just by hooking up with Bryce Clare? He doesn't know about your past, does he? Cheryl had a face full of mischief. She tapped her chin with her finger and casually
What you
picked
call
up
them?
a glass of wine from
Jealous
the server
sisters.
beside her. If he knew that you
Sometimes
still
the
had
parent.
feelings for your little
Sometimes
sister's
they have it because of the
fiancé,
parent.
how would he react? She thrust the wine into Natalie's hands and pushed her away with a frown. Then she smirked and threw herself to the ground. With her hair in a mess around her head, she cried, Sister, you already have Bryce. Why are you still thinking about Nick? She purposely raised her voice to attract the attention of all the guests in the hall. Do you still blame me for getting together with him? She bit her lips as tears threatened to fall from her eyes. But he caught you cheating. You broke his heart first. How can you still? She did not finish her sentence, but she had already said enough to put all the blame on Natalie. The surrounding guests looked at the stunned Natalie, who felt her head buzzing and her temples throbbing. Seeing Cheryl kneeling on the ground in a very sorry state,
What you
Nick
did? Ate your
squeezed through
money
the crowd,
again this
pulled her
time?
into his arms, and roared fiercely, Natalie, why are you like this? Even Tom leaned towards her and reprimanded her. How could I have a daughter with such a vicious heart? The endless scolding made her head spin. She put Liam down, afraid that she would drop him. You nasty woman! Liam shouted at Cheryl, who was still on the ground. You're lying! Natalie felt unbearable pain in her chest. She tried her best to support herself, but her vision went dark again. Losing her balance, she fell backward. But instead of hitting the cold tiled floor, she fell into a warm embrace. Bryce caught her tightly in his arms and looked up at Cheryl with a cold gaze as she was helped to her feet. Seeing his stare, Cheryl panicked and started to act pitifully. With a weak voice, she said, Mr. Clare, don't blame me. My sister grew up with Nick after all. They grew up together. Bryce sneered and turned to look at Nick with a hint of ridicule in his voice, still talking to Cheryl. Your sister had a bad taste.
I had to get us
yes,
food and
but
the
that's
cat
over
some
now.
stuff and
Here, why
more
would she
than
want
one
any
child,
other man?
honey.
He did
Than
not
one child.
react to Cheryl's
I got
stupefied
more than one
expression.
child, honey.
Instead, he picked up Liam with one arm and hugged the unconscious Natalie close to him before turning around and leaving. Episode 12. Give me back my son. When Natalie woke up, she was no longer at the engagement party, and she was surrounded by snow-white walls. She had apparently been taken to a hospital. She still had a splitting headache, as if someone was pounding her head with a hammer. Liam. She felt a little weak, but she did not expect her voice to turn hoarse the moment she spoke. She began to cough violently. Tom was standing at the side of her bed. Seeing that she had woken up, he didn't pay any attention to her words. Instead, he said, What's your relationship with Bryce? At that moment, Natalie felt nothing in her heart but disgust. She could almost smell his desperation, and it made her headache worse. In no mood to answer his question, she forced herself to sit up in bed. Liam, hurry up and come in here, she called. Stop shouting. He's not here. Tom frowned and said impatiently, I asked Cheryl to take him for food. You haven't answered my question. What is your relationship with Bryce? Natalie refused to believe that he had good intentions. What's more, she couldn't imagine what kind of harsh treatment Liam would be subjected to if he stayed with Cheryl. What does it have to do with you? Her face darkened as she glared at him. I think I've made myself clear. You go your way and I'll go mine. In the future, I'll leave you alone. All right, let's go our separate ways. Tom smiled coldly and nodded. You can go. The farther, the better. Natalie lifted her hand and pushed away the quilting covering her body, barely able to support herself as she stood up. I will. I'm leaving with Liam. Don't worry, we won't bother you again. Liam.
All right, let's see who's here.
So naturally, he will be brought up here. Do you really think someone like you could raise him?
I found what
words
color I'm gonna
stabbed at her like
use. I gotta
needles,
fix my
so sharp and
bedroom,
painful that she couldn't even scream.
my bathroom, and my
When he
and
first
bedroom.
saw Liam, he had called him a
All right,
bastard. But now that
Shaniva,
he
you
thought
got to
the
crawl
boy's
before you
father was
walk.
the illustrious Bryce
Okay,
Clare,
you got
he
to crawl
changed his
before you
tune.
walk.
You can say
Shaniva.
whatever you want. She
Okay,
clenched her
there's some
hands,
things
her
that
voice
it's
growing
like do
louder.
what you love.
I
Okay,
don't
this
want
is a time
anything.
for personal
Just
growth
Liam.
as well.
After
Okay,
going through so much,
especially
there
when
was
it comes
almost
down
nothing
to
left inside her.
artistics.
No
Okay,
one cared about
artistics
her,
is
or whether
like
her
painting
life
and
was
stuff
good or
like
bad.
that.
Spending 5
Okay,
years abroad had made her mature a lot, but she had also woken up. During that painful and unforgettable period, Liam had been
so
at
know
her
that
side.
painting is something
Through
that you should be
spring,
doing.
summer, autumn, and winter, through many days and nights. His importance to her was not something her father or any of the others could understand.
Mm-hmm.
I will give him back to you.
Yeah.
Tom raised his eyebrows and sized her up, speaking slowly.
I do situations that makes your heart well. Okay, so I do see this person here
If you can
that
persuade
is,
Bryce to partner with us,
somebody. I do see a man as well, but I do see
He
this being
spoke
a
lightly,
young man as
but his
well.
intention was
Okay,
clear. How many people were fighting for this opportunity? Something like this was easier said than done. Don't worry, I won't hurt the child. But you should
but
use
it's like
your
y'all
time
could be doing
wisely.
more.
With that, Tom walked away, leaving Natalie alone in the ward. She was so cold that she felt like she was standing in a cave of ice. Thinking about whatever her father said made her head spin, as she had only met Bryce by accident, and asking him for help wouldn't come easy. After realizing that it was Liam, her only support system, whom she
Y'all
loved
could
more
be
than
doing
anything,
more
she decided to seek help from Bryce. But where would she
together.
find him now? He was very powerful, so just getting close to him would be extremely difficult, not to mention that she would have to negotiate with him. But despite her worries, she did not hesitate. She couldn't wait a day longer. She had to get out of the hospital as soon as possible and do what needed to be done to get her child out of her father's clutches. She checked online and found quite a few news articles about Bryce. They said that he
Even
was
when
a
it
young
come down to
talent
him
of the
feeling
sort
like
only seen once a century.
feeling like
But she didn't care about any of
his
this.
hard work is
She
not
quickly
paying
found his
off.
company's address on
So
the
there's some
website
things
and went through her
that it's
discharge
like you both
procedures
have,
before rushing out of the
but y'all
hospital.
both feeling like
When Natalie arrived at the Clear Group,
things
it
are
was
falling
already
apart.
afternoon.
Y'all feel
She
y'all
sighed with
both not
emotion
putting in no
as she
hard
looked at
work.
the tall building
Y'all
in
not
front
putting
of
in
her.
that work.
In the spacious, empty
When
lobby,
it comes
the
to both
tiles
of
were
y'all,
so clean that you could see your reflection in them.
okay, so like y'all both
Hello.
can be
She
doing.
took 2 steps toward the reception desk and said quickly, I want to see Bryce Clare. The receptionist didn't even look up. She just answered in a cold, expressionless voice.
Y'all could be
Do you
doing
have an appointment?
more than
An
what y'all are
appointment?
doing.
How could she have an appointment? She didn't even know the man's cell. The girl at the front desk seemed to have read her thoughts. She didn't wait for a reply before she continued, Sorry, I can't let you in without an appointment. How could she leave now? She was too weak even to stand properly. So she went outside and squatted down in front of the building. It was the height of summer, and the sun almost made her faint. But despite how sick her body was, she gritted her teeth and endured it silently. She waited a full 3 hours, and only when it was close to evening did she finally see Bryce. He was too busy talking on his cell phone to notice her. He got into his car and prepared to leave. Natalie quickly got up and chased after him. She wanted to tell him to stop, but when she opened her mouth, she found that her throat was dry and hoarse. As the car passed her, heading off down the road, she rushed out in front of it and blocked its path. In the back seat, Bryce finally noticed what was happening, and his expression changed completely. Episode 13, Difficult Woman. The car almost hit
You
her.
stubborn too.
Natalie stared at it with a pale face. The front bumper was barely a fist's width from her knee. If the driver hadn't stopped in time, she would have been sent flying by the impact. Are you crazy?
Both of y'all
The driver
stubborn.
got out of the car and walked over to her angrily. It wasn't that she didn't care about her life. She had simply rushed out in a moment of desperation, not caring about anything but stopping the car. She swallowed. She was still a little frightened, but she forced a smile and apologized. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. She looked into the back of the car, but she couldn't see Bryce's face. So she turned back to the driver and said sincerely, I want to talk to Bryce Clare. You're looking for Mr. Clare. The driver frowned awkwardly. Yes. Would you mind telling him? Natalie
So y'all have to choose logic, okay, over emotions, okay? Y'all got to stop. Sometimes we just get so emotionally, okay, so y'all got to start using y'all brain, okay? Start using y'all brain. Start using other things besides y'all emotions. When I say y'all emotions, you know what I'm talking about when I say y'all emotions. Y'all so emotional. Y'all be all in y'all feelings and stuff like that. Okay? So y'all got to start doing more thinking, more here than, you know. Okay? Somebody going through a sudden change as well. Okay?
With an indifferent gaze. He frowned slightly and lowered his head to look at his watch. A client was waiting to see him. It was too late to talk to her. Tell her I'm busy. The window slowly
But
closed.
I do see y'all talking about some things also that makes
the driver passed on Bryce's message and got back into the car.
Be like, oh my God.
Natalie frowned. No, she had to talk to him. Who else could save her child? The sound of the car starting
also
rang
need to
in her
tell you
ears.
this is don't allow
Without
things to
thinking, she
distract
blocked it
you
again,
as well.
shouting to the man inside,
Sometimes
Mr.
things
Clare,
be complicated also, but you got to stand on your feet.
After, I
you got to
promise.
block out distractions, okay? Whatever that is
Bryce frowned as he looked at the
that's distracting you, okay? You need to block it out.
She was
So it's like, I got a man, but I'm focused. Somebody else got my attention. Somebody else.
But just as he was about to open the door, a low voice came from behind him. Bryce narrowed his eyes at Natalie. He wanted to see what she was really up to. The driver was stunned, but he quickly got out of the car to tell her. When Natalie heard his words, she looked up, and without meaning to, met Bryce's deep gaze.
I gotta get me a comb.
She lowered her head and quickly
got into the car. I'm gonna
the moment she got in, she started talking.
Do this.
Mr. Clare, I need your help. My dad has taken Liam and is hiding him from me.
I'm not gonna put no hairspray in there.
Bryce raised his eyebrows.
But I am going to spray it though.
Asking him to help her the moment she opened her mouth, he couldn't help but feel annoyed. He said with disdain, why should I? He had only helped her before for the sake of the child. Did she really think he was being kind? She choked, not knowing how to answer. She knew her request was unreasonable, but she was also at her wit's end. That was why she had decided to ask for his help. If she'd had a choice, she wouldn't have asked him. But now only he could help her. Thinking of this, she clenched her fists and summoned the courage to plead. Mr. Clare, I beg of you, please help me. She lowered her head, bit her lower lip, and gritted her teeth. If you help me, I'll give you anything. Anything. Bryce glanced at her and smiled sarcastically. What do you have that I could possibly want? Or do you? He moved closer to her, causing her to shrink back in fear. His voice, full of contempt, whispered in her ear.
Then I'm gonna have to cut you.
Instantly,
when I get some money, I'm gonna need.
And she bit harder on her lip without uttering a word. Bryce scoffed. He sat up straight and adjusted the cuffs of his shirt with his slender fingers. He said coldly, Unfortunately for you, I have a lot of women. I can't even count how many, begging me to sleep with them every day. Natalie looked up, surprised. She knew he was very popular with women, but she was still surprised to hear the words from his own mouth. At that moment, she realized she had been in too much of a hurry to find him. Embarrassment welled up in her heart. Even if she wanted to repay him with her body, he still might not want it.
Child, I look like my mama.
As he said himself, he wasn't short of women. So what was he missing?
I look like my mama with my hair like this.
She suddenly realized that asking him was the stupidest thing she had ever done.
When she was younger. I look like her when she was younger.
Deep breath and forced a smile.
I should have put some oil on my face before I did my makeup.
With that, she hurriedly
I should call her and say, Mama, come on this.
She felt dizzy. The sun was shining down on her, and now that she was outside, she couldn't help but frown. Bryce turned.
Oh boy, I should have had some. I should have done what I should have did first. Was put this oil on my face. I should have oiled my face first. But that picture gonna be looking good on it look good like this. But I just wanna shape it up and put some little flyaways. I don't do baby hairs, but I'll do some flyaways. Um then I'm gonna put some of this I wanna wet it. I'm gonna wet it first because this is synthetic, so I am gonna wet it and cut it. I'm distracted. It will get on track. Okay, Danielle. Danielle, there's so much for you to be grateful for and thankful for as well. But at some point, you're just not feeling it. Okay. I do see a lot of failure also, especially when it comes to financial. Okay. There's things that you are still needing to do or you're not keeping your promise. Okay, I see a lot of failure, especially when it comes down to success. So there's problems with money working also. Okay, to where you're not really able to make do what it is that you desire to do as well. Okay, I don't see you also being happy or getting the things that you want or any resources or help when it comes down to your family. Okay, not having a solution, no compromising and not coming up with a different solution, not coming up with there's no self-control, no patience. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. But I need to tell you, it will be better if you just make a decision. It would be better if you just make a decision because sometimes you just overanalyze and this whatever the problem is, you overanalyze and it is what it is. Okay, it ain't what it ain't, it is what it is. But you need to make a decision. You make a decision, your life will be so much better. Things will be so much better for you as well. Okay, but you gotta find a way to compromise. Okay. Mm, I'm hungry, man. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. It's 12:06. I didn't even take out that meat. I thought I took it out, but I didn't. I don't know. I gotta go look again. Did I take that? No, I didn't even take that meat out. Uh-uh. I didn't. Oh, I was thinking about taking that meat out because I wanted to make me some homemade hamburgers. That's what I wanted, some homemade hamburgers. So I just hope I took that meat out. I didn't even go in the kitchen when I got up. I just went, took care of everything, wash my face, brush my teeth, and all of that. I took care of myself today. And child, just wait. I can read. Thank you, Danielle. Some yes, Lacey. I take the hamburger out. Oh boy, I ain't take that hamburger out. I'm gonna make me a hamburger sandwich. Ooh, it gonna have cheese on it. I probably did take it out. I probably didn't because I have bologna in there. I'm gonna do a review on Cookie Crumble, y'all. I'm just gonna tell y'all this. Cookie Crumble, they is so hyped up. Mm-mm-mm. Cookie Crumble, they be hyping it up. They be hyping Cookie Crumble up. When they be like, hype my bestie up. Hype my bestie up. They be hyping Chris Crumble Cookie up. Crumble Cookie is a hot mess. You Lisa, you heard me say that early. Girl, bye. It's giving you cake. It's giving us. I added flour, oil, sugar, but diet sugar to the batter. Okay, formed it up, but it's also have like it's a certain type of flour that they use because it's not flour. It's almost like using cake flour. Okay, but flour. So some I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The cookie is bland. The cookie is just a basic bread cookie with no taste, no vanilla, no almond. It's a diet cookie. But the only reason why it's sweet is because of the icing that they put on there. The red velvet was good because of the icing. I didn't have a chance to taste the chocolate chip because that was sold out. It's not even that many people in this city to sell out of anything. Okay. The lemon cookie was cute because it has like a lemon slice on it. Okay. And they need to make it a little bit more limery. They need to add a little bit of limery to it. It is so sweet, y'all. It's the icing. The icing is, they put all the sugar in the icing. And I just say, I just can't eat this no more. I can't. So I still got some in the refrigerator because we had took half of the cookie. I'm on that. I'm on that. That's me. Babe, you get half, I get half. We don't have to buy two. No. Okay, we taking it all the way back to 1990 where we were sharing bags of chips. We got the money to buy you get your own box, I get my own box. But it ain't that type of party, baby. It's not that type of party, you know? This that natural beat right here. This that natural beat right here. Y'all, it's horrible. The cookies look cakery. I promise I didn't. LOL. Gotta get up and find something to do and put on some music. You just getting up? It's going on 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You just cleaning up? That's a good thing about living by yourself. You ain't got to get up and do it when you get ready to. I just want to take a picture. Okay. Let me pull this to the side. That's what I look like my mama. Oh, I look like my mama. Am I giving grandma or auntie? Bye bye. I'm gonna say, am I giving grandma or auntie? Am I giving grandma or auntie? Hold on, let me clean my lens. Cause that's what it's probably giving. Clean your lens. You won't look like grandma nor auntie. Something gotta get up and find something to do and put on spoon. All right, I'm ready. Ah, what? Right. Oh, come on, lay down. Lay down, ma. Lay down. Girl, shut up over there. Don't you start that. Oh my gosh, it's giving me auntie. Okay, it's oh, oh. It's giving me auntie. Oh. Let me turn the flash back on. Oh, it's giving me auntie. It's giving me auntie. I ain't even got on no filter. Oh boy, it's gonna be auntie. So let me see. Shut up. All right. Hey, real. Okay, let's see. Lacey, you can run, but you cannot hide. Okay. You can run, but you cannot hide. Okay. You got to start planning wisely. Okay. When you start making wise plans, Lacey, you'll start seeing great things happen. But you got to start putting in making plans, but it got to be wise, good plans. Okay. And it's like from wisdom, from wise planning, you'll start seeing prosperity. Okay. But it's time for you to start moving forward. Whatever it is that you're procrastinating about doing, you need to do it because it's like take the time, take the next step now. Okay. You got to stay optimistic, stay hopeful. Okay. If you stay hopeful, it will turn out the way that you need it to turn out. Okay. Things that can happen for you, but you got to stay hopeful. You got to have You got to stay hopeful and you got to be positive at all times. Okay. And come up with a good plan and do it. Okay. You'll see prosperity. You understand what I'm saying? Do what it is that you say you're going to do it. Okay. But plan things first. Plan. Okay. And be like, okay, I know my plan gonna come out. I know everything gonna work to come out together. Everything gonna be good. So I make this plan. Let me think of a plan. Let me come up with something. Let me come up with this plan. Okay? And you come up with that plan. Stay hopeful. Yeah, I know this gonna work. I know it's gonna work. Good things gonna come out of this. If I just do what it is that I need to do, stay focused on it, I'm gonna do it. Yes, but I'm going to take that leap. Okay? Mm. You need to keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Okay? Leave things to other people. Yeah. Let's see what goes on with this man. Mm. All right. Sometimes we be dealing with people that just. I see somebody that's strong and good, but they need to keep their eyes on the big picture as well. This is somebody that's has a lot of love or genuine concerns when it comes down to people. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. But sometimes when it comes down to relationships with when it come down with this person in relationships, this person here don't be making really good choices at all. They're not really they're not ambitious. But at some point it's like we got to match the same energy, okay? We got to have the same genuine concerns as well. So it's almost like this. I meet somebody, but we don't have that same energy. We're not matching the same energy at all. Okay, at all, at all, at all. We just talking, and we ain't got nothing in common. Period. Okay, so at this moment, you need to be thinking positive at all times. It's like you thrive through positive thinking. Okay, so you got to stay positive at all times, even when it comes down to you. Um, what did I say to you earlier? When I said to you, you got to come up with some wise planning as well. Okay, well, I do see you being happy though. But I just see you being happy when it comes down to that plan of yours. You making up your mind, making a decision to move forward, but staying hopeful that everything is going to work out, going to come through for you. You just it's not even it's oh okay, I'm gonna say because March ain't even come yet. Just talking about yes, that's why my focus is on your focus on what? I know that plan is gonna get me and my son where I need to be. Yeah, but you gotta stay focused, you know. Hmm. Okay, because at some point you're not doing what is right for you. So you are encouraged to come up with a plan. Allow that plan to be wise, a good plan, but stay hopeful and optimistic. Okay, and work towards that. Okay, do what it is that you need to do. Sometimes you meet somebody and y'all energies don't be matching. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they don't match. Sometimes they don't be the one. Okay, sometimes they look good on paper, but y'all energies just ain't matching. Okay. Um, So this gonna be like this for a few days, and then stop. Let me shut my live. People be so. Ooh, I'm sharing my prayer. People be so to my other page because to other groups that I'm in as well. Okay, because some people don't share prayers and stuff. They so stop, Trina. Mm, they be sharing to the people that they know gonna come, and they be sharing it to me. Oh, that's nice. They'll be sharing it to me. I'm gonna block you. If I ask anybody to share something and they end up sharing it to me, I'm gonna block them. That's just me. That's what I'm gonna do. Ooh, that look old and raggedy. That needs some work. You're going straight to the bottom of the ocean in that. And it's true. You're gonna be floating, holding on, and trying to get back to the ocean because that just put nothing but holes in there. Mm. All right, y'all. So that's it. Mm. And that's what it's given. What's given what? This audio you may like, try to use it in the real. I heard someone say it. I heard someone say when it's two or more in a midst, God is there, but God is always with me. Every move I make, I'm never alone. So I don't know what you talking about. When we were conversating last night, he was acting like a know-it-all. Oh, see, like okay. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna end up fixing this up offline, and I'm gonna take a picture, and I may also post this picture after I fix it up. I may end up posting a picture of it. Okay, but it's giving me auntie. Oh, it's giving me auntie vibes, but it's okay. It's good. This is a wig from Timu, but it's giving me auntie vibes. But I'm gonna fix it up. Okay, trust and believe that I did hair and do hair, but don't do it because it take up too much. I ain't got time for all of that. I like to work real fast. I ain't got time to be sitting around talking and keying. I need to work real fast because I get bored. Okay, when I do hair, I get bored really fast. Okay, I get bored really fast. So, mm-mm. If I do your hair, it got to be something I like. Don't say, "Ooh, I want this," because I'm gonna get bored with it. So, but if I do your hair the way I want to do it, oh, we gonna have fun. We gonna be lit. All of that. X real. Oh, I used to do her hair just for her to sit in the house because she. Yes, real. Always used to have her hair done all the time, and then when people be in a relationship, that men always say, "I had got her hair did. You ain't do nothing. I ain't get Oh, I need to stop. I need to stop. Oh, God, I just want to say thank you for a blessing. Power on. No! Oh my goodness, 1 hour and 30 minutes. I had all right, y'all. I'm gonna end this live, but I'm gonna take a picture of myself later. I might change my whole appearance. I might wipe this off and oil my face first. And then do it all over again so we can see different. Okay, because it's giving me auntie. All right, it's giving me auntie. This is like a helmet head. But if I take this and then do something with this, I love flyaways. I'm not really a big fan of baby hairs, but I like flyaways, and this is like flyaways come down like this. But anywho, I ain't gonna mess it up no more. But this is that wig off of Timu. Okay, that little short wig. But I'm gonna fix this up, honey, because we used to wear our hair like this back in the days. Back in the 90s, we used to wear our hair like this in high school, in middle school. Okay, I roll it all up and then take one side and lay it down like this. Okay, I used to do that all sometimes. Push it back like this and let this side be curly, going over like this, or doing both sides like this, and then letting this side just this be curly like a little mohawk. But yeah. But for my birthday, I may end up seeing me with a ponytail. But that ponytail, somebody gonna have to come put that ponytail in my head, okay? Because I am doing my nails this year as well and my toes, and I'm doing acrylic, okay? And it is not last year I was not able to put my hair in a ponytail because of the jewelry I had on my nails. It was so much jewelry because I had pink and gold junk nails. Oh, it was so beautiful. But I'm gonna do my nails this time, and it is gonna have like some type of hearts because of Valentine's Day as well. So I might be doing. I don't know. I did pink and gold last year, so I was thinking to do black and gold this year. But baby, baby, it's a season, honey. This is a new season, honey. So this here may not be the last look for this for this age. But I'm gonna do a round. I'm gonna do a roundabout. I don't know. Anywho, let me get out of here. Let me get off here before I start using my gels, my cluster, and my jam. Let me get out of here. Let me see if I got enough ink. I got a lot of here. I got a lot of here to do some pulling down. Hmm. I just don't got no my my comb. I just don't have my comb, y'all. And I don't feel like getting up going to get it. So I looked at the scissors, but I was like, no, I don't need the scissors because I have my because I have this. I ain't too proud to pay. Okay, back in the days, this was our baby hairs. Back in the days, our baby hairs was like this. But I'm a big fan of flyaways right here, and so I know what to do. So y'all will see me later. So I might be at Longhorn. So make sure your money right, okay? And you looking good. Don't come half stepping. And I'm doing my birthday cake. This time it's not gonna be really big. It's gonna be something small. I'm gonna do like one layer. Okay. That's the swoop I'm talking about. This part gonna be low. So it's gonna be a lot of chopping on this side. It's not even gonna, it don't even need chopping like that. Cause you can do this. See? It's giving me Florida Evans from Good Times. Bye, y'all. Oh boy, I can't wait to say bye.